After the Rajasuya ceremony was completed successfully, Sri Krishna prepared to return to Dvaraka. The Pandavas gave him a heartfelt farewell. Yudhisthira, filled with gratitude, said to Krishna, "You, the vanquisher of demons, made the Rajasuya possible through your kindness and care. Even though you'll be far away in Dvaraka, we know your unbeatable strength will always be with us, protecting us." After the guests had left, Duryodhana, along with his uncle Shakuni, decided to stay a little longer to explore the magnificent Mayasabha. Duryodhana wanted to take his time and fully appreciate the wonders of the hall. One day, he ventured inside alone, but what followed was a series of embarrassing mishaps that would stick with him for a long time. The walls glittered with precious gems, and shimmering pearl curtains hung everywhere, giving the hall a magical feel. The place was cool and refreshing, with an air-conditioned atmosphere. However, when Duryodhana tried to enter what seemed to be a hallway through a diamond-studded doorway, he slammed his head against a solid wall. It was just an illusion. Later, what appeared to be a serene lake turned out to be a clever illusion as well. But when he thought he was on solid ground, he unexpectedly stepped into a real water reservoir, drenching his royal clothes. At that moment, Draupadi, passing by with her maids, couldn't contain her laughter. Her reaction stunned Duryodhana deeply. He felt humiliated and believed Draupadi's laughter was a sign of her arrogance, and he saw it as an unforgivable insult to his royal pride. Immediately, Yudhisthira, realizing what had happened, sent Bhima to offer Duryodhana fresh clothes and help him navigate through the tricky illusions of the Mayasabha. Despite the efforts to assist him, Duryodhana's experience in the Grand Hall ended up as an embarrassing disaster. When Duryodhana returned to Hastinapura, he was consumed with sadness and envy. He withdrew from everyone, losing weight in his usual vibrant appearance. Shakuni, noticing his nephew's gloomy state, approached him and asked what was truly bothering him. Duryodhana, trusting his uncle more than his own father, confided in him, "Uncle, you're like a father to me. My real father doesn't care for me or my brothers. Look at the Pandavas. Just a while ago, they were nothing more than beggars in Ekachakrapura. Now, they rule as emperors under a single umbrella of sovereignty. You witnessed their splendor yourself when Yudhisthira was crowned emperor. Satyaki held the umbrella of power during the ceremony." Duryodhana continued, "Satyaki himself held the umbrella of honor above Yudhisthira, while Bhima and Arjuna stood by, waving fans with golden handles encrusted with jewels. Even Sri Krishna, along with Drupada and his son Dhristadyumna, led the princes who stood in line like humble merchants, waiting to bow at Yudhisthira's feet. Even Chitraratha, the prince of the Gandharvas, came and bowed down, offering divine horses as a gift. The sacred bell installed by sage Narada, which was supposed to ring once for every 100,000 people served food, rang nonstop. Draupadi oversaw the massive food service for the countless guests, and she didn't eat until after midnight each day. Her popularity matched her beauty. Yudhisthira's generosity was boundless. He gave away all the treasures his brothers won and all the wealth he received as tribute to the Brahmins and the needy. People say the ancient king Harishchandra performed the Rajasuya Yaga, but I believe Dharmaputra has surpassed even him. You've seen the Mayasabha. It's the most advanced of its kind, far superior to anything Indra, Varuna, Kubera, or even Brahma possess. Maya built it in the remote Himalayan mountains, and more than 8,000 Rakshasas transported the prefabricated parts to Indraprastha. But despite all this grandeur, it was heart-wrenching to witness Sisapala, a symbol of royal dignity and self-respect, being slaughtered by Krishna, who pretended to be the incarnation of Vishnu. None of the other royal dignitaries dared to speak up against this injustice. My father ignored the wise advice of our minister Kanika and remains biased toward the Pandavas. I'd rather die than continue living with this disgrace." Hearing his nephew's frustration, Shakuni consoled him, "Duryodhana, you don't need to be so troubled. The Pandavas are indeed powerful now. Karna might suggest a war, but I can defeat the Pandavas without shedding a single drop of blood, and all their wealth will be yours. The only obstacle is convincing your father, Dhritarashtra. If you can persuade him, leave the rest to me. Let the Pandavas conquer all of Bharatavarsha with their might. I will bring them down with a clever strategy." Duryodhana was thrilled by his uncle Shakuni's suggestion and said, "Your idea sounds incredible, but please explain more. I don't like the uncertainty of war. I know we can't convince Bhishma, Drona, or Kripa to support us in that. A military solution won't work right now, Shakuni replied, while Bhima, Arjuna, and the others had been busy with physical training and archery. Yudhisthira has developed a liking for the game of dice. He's inexperienced and not skilled in it. Let's invite him to a friendly game of dice, so Bhishma and Drona won't suspect anything. Many dangerous habits start as harmless fun but turn into terrible mistakes. Once Yudhisthira starts playing, we can subtly introduce betting. Duryodhana was excited by the plan. The two of them went to see Dhritarashtra. The king first asked about Duryodhana's well-being, and then Duryodhana shared his idea. Dhritarashtra, eager to impress, immediately called for 1,000 architects to build a grand new assembly hall that would rival the famous Maya Sabha. However, Duryodhana insisted that Yudhisthira be invited to a game of dice. Dhritarashtra hesitated and said, "Our kingdom's strength relies on Bhishma's military power and Vidura's wisdom. I should consult Vidura first." Duryodhana, growing frustrated, replied, "Vidura always supports the Pandavas, and he'll never agree to this. If you don't approve my plan, I'll throw myself into the fire and end my life." After saying this, he stormed away. Despite his son's threat, Dhritarashtra sought Vidura's advice in private. Vidura warned him, winning a kingdom through dice. That's a terrible idea. It seems like the dark age of Kali Yuga is coming too soon, with people seeking quick and easy gains. The game of dice will only bring disaster. It will create divisions, and divisions will lead to the downfall of the royal family. If the royal dynasty falls, it will bring suffering to everyone. We must avoid this game. But Dhritarashtra, determined, replied, "I'm here, you're here, and Bhishma is here. There's no chance of disaster. It's just a friendly game. I want to see the Pandavas again. Go to Indraprastha and invite Yudhisthira and his brothers to come here on my behalf. In the meantime, our architects will finish building the new assembly hall. I want the Pandavas to attend its grand opening."